Punk Unicorns Podcast. Punk Unicorns Podcast. Punk Unicorns Podcast.
With Nikki B, Mama K.
Yeah.
Ya morons.
Hi everybody, we love you.
You know, I really do.
I do.
I do.
And you as a bunch of, I don't know if you can see this because we're so far away.
Hexy bitches, hexy witches.
Witches. You're a bunch of hexy witches. That's right, witches.
Well, I'm a little offended. I just realized what my cup said.
I know.
You know what?
That was my first favorite coffee
Do you
mug.
know how? Well, yes, you do, because we were just having a discussion prior to hitting record, and we have decided that someone should just follow us around and record our conversations at all times.
All times. Netflix, we are way cooler than
Man.
those vampires at the asylum that you found out were
God.
just nerds with fetishes.
Right, and
Did I say that?
acrylic teeth.
Right.
But my cup has the Pillsbury Doughboy on it, and it says, "Good morning, Doughboy."
Yeah, so good morning all you doughboys out there slinging drugs illegally today. On a much lighter note,
My mother died
must it be?
on her birthday, just like I predicted.
Kathy did say this for like weeks ahead of time.
Yep.
I think she even said it on the episode.
I
last
did
week.
a couple times. I knew it was happening. I knew she was gonna go on her birthday, and
But at least it was exact. So she died kind
full
of
circle, man.
in the same spot in space that she was born.
Right. She
That's
she
pretty
was
neat.
full
That's pretty
circle,
neat.
and yeah, and I knew because my mom was cool like that. However, once again, when someone in your family dies, people want to show their ass. Now, it hasn't been any of my mother's children. It hasn't.
And that's the best part. At
Right.
least it's not the siblings
It's
because
not
that's
us.
what they're all getting along and grieving together.
Well,
Well,
my sister and I don't speak, and that's okay. We're polar opposites, and it's safer that way. My younger brother and I, best of friends. My older brother and I, best of friends.
my sister and I get along really well. We're good friends too. Best
But-
friends.
But it's okay. Like, the thing is when you're polar opposites, your words tend to hurt the other.
Oh God, that's me
So-
and Pisces.
and then-
Sagittarius, Pisces, that's a hateful combination.
I'm sorry about Pisces. I hope you love me.
I hope you love me so much.
You're like the other kind of Pisces.
The cool Pisces.
Right, you're not the one that this is their
Right.
last level here in the game before they go into 4D.
Right.
So they're a little bit salty that they're not going to be able to like eat anymore
Correct.
and stuff like that.
So I had went to, it was so strange. For like a half hour before my husband texted me like, hey, I'm on my way to the shop, come pick me up, I felt so nauseous, so sick. I felt like ass.
It's because it had happened.
It had happened and I hadn't known yet, and I just felt
Your
it.
body knew the connection was.
I even messaged Coach Chelsea and said, look, I am not going to come to practice tonight. I'm just not feeling well. Something's not right. So Mike messaged me, said, come get me. So I'm waiting on him to pull up, and that's when my sister-in-law called me and told me that my mother had passed. And my nephew Zane was talking to her when she passed, so he was comforting enough for her to let
Is
go.
Zane like a 6'4", sexy, hairy, muscle-building gay guy?
Well, I don't know if I would say those things about my nephew. No, he is not gay. He's tall and slender.
But he's not a Sasquatch. That's a TikTok, Instagram,
No.
Facebook person.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. Very, very normal child. Very normal child. But my mother had a very odd childhood. Her birth mother passed away when she was very young. And her father and stepmother raised her, but her stepmother was mother. Like, there was no step in my grandma.
That's a lot of people that happens.
Yeah.
You know? 'Cause,
Yeah.
You tell
And-
this story that only dads fail. Moms
Right.
do fail.
We
Not
do.
as much less,
Right.
but yeah.
Yes.
There's both sides.
So we just, you know, I always kind of had this separation. Like, I always knew about my North Carolina family. Like, my grandma, birthday cards, Christmas cards,
North
the
Carolina is bio family.
grandfather's side. My mom's dad's side is
paternal grandfather.
paternal is that's how I kind of associate it. My paternal grandfather side of the, or my maternal, sorry.
Maternal.
My
that's right.
maternal grandfather's side of the family is North Carolina. My biological maternal grandmother's family is New York. Now,
God, you're bougie. You like upstate New York, and then the
my
Biltmore.
mom,
You like the Biltmore.
my nose is running. It's kind of chilly today.
We
My
do not,
mother-
however, promote the use of this company
We
for
don't.
anything. These are just free.
These are free.
Notice
Free.
we say company and not charity.
So, but my younger two siblings were more acquainted with the New York family, to where I was more acquainted with the North Carolina family. And so, because my father's parents raised me. So, whereas my mom was back up here in New York with my younger siblings, and they all knew about them and everything, my North Carolina family knew about everybody, but never really like got a chance to engage like they did with me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went to my mom's family reunion for the New York family, for her birth mother's side of the family, my Aunt Linda was going into town, and now this is the first time that they're meeting me.
We all have an Aunt Linda.
Oh, she was my favorite aunt and will be forever.
We
She's
all
may
have
she
an
rest
Aunt
in
Linda,
peace.
and we all have an Uncle Buck. Do you have an Uncle Buck? I do.
I don't.
He's not my biological uncle, but he's my dad's best friend since like 1950,000 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know about.
So I just grew up thinking he was my uncle until I was 9.
Yeah.
And then my mom told me, "You're not an Orion, and you're not a Godsey. You're not actually related to all those people." I'm like, "How? Like, Brendan and Kelly are there. Like, how am I not related to them?"
It's all, well, you know, neighbors become aunts and uncles, and you know.
Well, I'm not super close with all of them, but we are close, and
Right.
we all refer to each other. My brother, or me and my sister, they refer to us as cousins.
Yeah. So, you know, when my Aunt Linda asked me, you know, you want to ride into town? I'm like, yeah, sure. Now, on the way back, I'm 35 years old, okay? 35 years old.
So this is how many years ago?
Almost 10. Almost 10 years ago.
It's so weird to say that, isn't it?
I
Because
know.
then in our head, we're still 40.
Right. So it was like 10 years ago, and we're on our way back, and we're just driving, you know, shooting the shit, and my aunt looks over at me, and she goes, so how do you know my sister?
Tina, no, she didn't. Was she a drunk?
No.
Okay.
No, she was 100% being on. And I looked over at her and I kind of laughed because my mother and I are twins. Okay?
You literally are. Like, when I saw the picture
Yeah.
of the obituary, I was like,
I
oh my
literally, me and my mom are twins. So for her to look over at me and say that, I just kind of started laughing. I thought she was fucking around. She was being dead serious. And I said, oh my God, you're being serious? And she's like, yeah, are you a neighbor or something? I'm like, I'm her daughter. And she's like, oh, well, I knew about your sister, but I didn't know about you. And it was like a very
Even if you
triggering thing that she didn't mean anything by it. And again, she was my favorite aunt. She didn't mean anything by it, but for me, it triggered that young girl that would go over to my dad's house and see these family pictures on the walls with the stepmother's kids in it and not me. Not the memorial. Oh, grandma. I love my grandma. She's an old biker lady, and I'm not even joking. Like, she's in her 80s, and her and my grandpa still are bikers, but bless her heart, she's having some issues right now with her social media skills and her computer skills. And I'm like, Grandma, I cannot help you in Ohio when you're in North Carolina. You need to call Amanda.
And it's hard because the only reason why is because if you have someone that's 80, well, in 1985, they were how old? 35 or some shit like that.
Yeah.
They were using computers. Like, it's,
Not my grandma.
oh, okay, I was gonna say.
My grandma's very
not mine either,
conservative.
but still, like,
My grandma is one. She
this hasn't warmed up
she
yet.
likes, you know, the guy. You know, the one guy that's doing the one thing with the lady. She likes that guy. But I digress. So anyway, the obituary came out yesterday, and I'm not trying. I know my sister. My sister took care of my mom, and I will forever and eternally be grateful to her for that, because I know what it's like to take care of someone who's dying. Excuse me. It's hard on you. It's hard on your family. Everybody. It's just emotionally nerve-wracking, and I will forever be thankful my sister did that.
Gee, it's fine.
There we go. That one's from my mom. She loved
That's a
pot.
B, yes.
My mom loved marijuana.
She made me thought real hard for that one.
Yes, my mother was a very, very proud pothead. So, the obituary comes out, and we have all submitted our names, our children's names, my grandson, you know, and I start reading the obituary, and I'm like, something ain't right. Because my mom's got a lot of siblings on the birth mom side. She's got a lot of siblings on her birth father side. And some of them have the same name.
That's nerds.
Yes.
Holy cow.
She has two sisters by the name of Sue. One here and one there.
Is one like Sue Ellen and the other is Sue Marie or
No,
something?
one is an angel and the other's a cunt.
Yes. You should make them dress up as that for Halloween.
Nah. Oh my god.
Did we get a CNN update?
Look who just texted me.
Is that Libby?
No, that is.
Oh, her pussy must be burning. You're like, she might even answer online. She might get real angry in a second. Disclaimer.
Okay, it was just.
Okay, that's normal. Okay, blessed be. Haha. We're like, okay, shut the
Oh,
fuck
you
up.
know that labia was burning!
Oh man, we must have tapped into the Matrix today. If they calling you while we talking about them, and you don't ever talk. That's
In
weird.
a year and a half. That's the first
It's
contact.
almost like we planned that, but we did not.
I thought it was gonna be, bitch, who gave you permission to change the obituary? Me, heifer.
I'm older.
So let me just say, there was 2 grandchildren missing. There were 2 of my mother's siblings missing. And 1 sibling was listed as Larry and Lawrence. They're the same person.
Oh wait, it would have been funny if there was a third Larry. This is my brother Larry.
Larry and Derry and Daryl, yeah.
Daryl, yeah, oh yeah, that's right.
So, I did not, and they listed my grandma as stepmom, which technically, yes, that was her stepmother, but holy fucking shit.
If she was closer
My
to stepmom,
mom,
then
if
you
my,
don't even need to make the delineation.
no, my mother would burn down the fucking funeral home if she knew that my grandma was put in there as stepmom. So, I did not want to be that person. I did not want to play the trump card, like, look, technically I'm the oldest and this is how it's gotta be.
Sometimes you do
But
do
that's
that.
exactly what I did.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I have an older brother that lives in New York. Now, he was given up for adoption when my mom was young, okay? Because she was young when she had him. She gave him up for adoption, and that's actually how my parents met. My mother had come up here for the duration of her pregnancy, stayed with my grandfather's army buddy, who just happened to be neighbors with my grandparents, my dad's parents, who raised me. So she stayed the duration of the pregnancy, went back to New York, gave birth to my brother, put him up for adoption, came back, got with my dad, blah, 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 blah. So now I do have this older brother. But technically, since he was given up for adoption, he's not the oldest next of kin, that is me.
Right, because that's even legal.
Right.
That wouldn't be legal.
And
that
I-
would not in any way, unless they had reestablished contact and there was like, everybody was hip to it.
And this is not my sister's fault, this is not my brother's fault, but just the obituary itself was sloppy. There was
You should
shit
usually
misspelled.
have the best person in your family write an obituary.
Well, no.
You
And
know?
here's the thing. My sister-in-law is a funeral director.
Oh yeah. You
Now, if I gave her, or you gave her an obituary for someone, now she looks at it and says, okay, well, that's spelled wrong. You would run, I don't even know what it's called anymore, run something on it to make sure that the punctuation's correct. Like, this is an obituary. It was so sloppy. And I emailed them 10 fucking times in the last, 5 hours. Like, you forgot this, why is this spelled this way? There is no A in Lawrence, where did that go? And I'm like, for the love of shit, take stepmother out of this equation, please.
I'm
Where
not
are
a
my
big-
nephews?
Right, I'm not
where's
a
a
big
picture of
fan
my
of
mom,
that.
for Christ's sake? There ain't even a picture of her on the fucking obituary. I was like, here's a fucking picture. But the thing is, it's not my siblings' fault, because they're there. They are right there, and they've got all this going on.
Right. So. It's a
So
little
I'm
bit
over here
rough on
I
them.
know that they're over here grieving a little bit harder than I am, because they're there and they're dealing with it, and they're dealing with a lot. And mom's services are tomorrow. So let me just fix this real quick, because y'all done fucked up.
So, Indiana's sister. This was not her mother that just passed.
No. So the twins,
Our
okay,
dads.
are basically,
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, yeah.
yes. So my dad married the twins' mother and then had my brother with them, but she was already pregnant with the twins when they married, and supposedly they aren't his, but
But
We-
you guys are still siblings. You were
we
raised
look
up-
like fucking triplets.
Right. No, I agree. You're still raised as siblings, because you are siblings.
Exactly. So, but yeah, the obituary was just all over the place, and out of respect for my grandmother, my grandmother wasn't close to my siblings, and we weren't exactly close either, but like I said, my New York family, except for one of my aunts who was the one that was going to take my mother in the middle of the night while I slept in my bed, and sneak her back to New York, that bitch, who says, and I quote, "Oh, I can't stand you," and I'm like, good, I just wanted you to hear it. That's Ryan's mother. He needs to worry about his own cockeyed mama and leave my shit alone. I digress, not so fucking respectfully anyway. Look, we need pie!
So today we have a tiny pie.
I need pie, bitch.
We have a real little one, so we're gonna split it today.
This is called the petty pumpkin pie,
Yes.
because that's what I'm doing. Being petty. I am being petty. But I said I don't understand how you're gonna. I said, but y'all gotta fix this. And then I was in line at the pharmacy, and I hate it when people are on the phone when you're trying to work with them, but I couldn't exactly hang up on the damn funeral director, And so I pull up, and the lady at the Walgreens is like, and I'm like, I am so sorry, just give me 1 second, this is really important. And she's just like, and I'm like, sir, I'm gonna have to end this call because the lady at the Walgreens is looking at me very angrily. And he's like, well, we got everything we need, thank you. I'm like, thank you, and I hang up. I was like, that was the funeral home. I'm planning my mother's obituary. Now, do you have my fucking medicine? And guess what they did? Because they done messed that up too. And I fell on my ass yesterday. No, my face. How was your week?
Mine was doing pretty good. The debit system started working at work again.
That was my question. I was getting ready to ask.
So that's been nice.
Much more efficient.
No drama at work. We have a great crew right now. Our grow facility is doubling in size.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, so you could see some new different products from us and stuff like that. We've got 4 new strains. I may have mentioned that the other day though.
Mm-hmm.
And One of them is like the talk of the street. People are coming in for it now.
What's that one?
The frozen
Frozen
bananas.
bananas.
So y'all, it tastes legit like bananas, and there's no distillate sprayed on it. There's nothing added to it. It really tastes like bananas naturally. It's so fucking good. We've got it concentrate, 510 luster, disposable, and weed.
Also, if any of you are visiting Nikki B's place of employment and you are friends with me and you want to walk up and tell him that, please wear a name tag.
Or if you're just a fan.
Or if you're just a fan, period.
Now, a couple of you, of course, I know.
Yeah.
Like Becca. I mean, Maurice.
Maurice.
And Jennifer. And a couple other people.
Yes. So, I would like
Those are some of our super fans.
super duper. So,
Eventually, we'll have a meet and greet somewhere with everybody.
oh my god, I would love that. They could buy us things.
Like at On Par.
And yeah, they could buy us like Mexican street corn. my favorite thing.
And shots of hot cider.
I really, really want to make some like, you know, when I think of making apple cider, I think of like a bunch of logs in a pile burning with a big old kettle.
Like a witch kettle. And you even have to cackle sometimes while you're making it.
My cackles broke.
It turned into a snorkel.
That's a snorkel now. So, if you are interested in watching a movie, because you've seen all of the reality shows that you can tolerate, if you go on Amazon Prime and look up I Win the Movie, it is on Amazon Prime, you can rent it, you can own it, and it's only $5 to own it, so why would you fucking rent it?
Right, just own it. And then you can
I bought it.
You can show it to everybody.
I bought it. You don't want to know why? Because my sweet nephew, Nate Simon, Nate the Great,
Woo woo.
is in that movie as one of the lead characters.
Ooh, that's fun.
And to go along with said nephew, my nephew Nathaniel Simon is also the CEO of 21 Pineapple Shirt Company. And he is also one of the homies with an extra chromie, and he has the Down syndromes. This month is Down Syndrome Awareness Month, and it is also Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So find someone with Down syndrome and let them check you for lumps.
Yes.
That's what I always say.
Mm-hmm. And it's Halloween, so you could do all of that while wearing witch hats together.
Sparkly witch hats.
I have a witch hat. I was almost going to wear it today, but I figured I would wait until our Halloween special. Okay, and then we'll both wear them the same day.
It's black and has little green stars on it.
Oh, mine is in a wig with a white chunk in the front. I can be super witchy.
Oh, grrr.
Oh, cool.
That's one of them Nicki Minaj witches.
Oh.
So,
Yeah, I'll put this back here on the buffet. The garage buffet.
the garage buffet. So nobody's gonna come take our plates, are they?
No,
Good, we don't have to tip them then, do we?
We cannot afford artificial intelligence house robots.
So, guys, I just want to let you know this 8-ball is bullshit because we asked it last week about my mom dying on its birthday and it said, no.
It did
Well,
lie.
It did lie. That's
8-ball.
faulty.
Do you lie all the time? Answer unclear. Ask later. Do you lie all the time? Hey.
Oh, that's an actual text.
No doubt about it. Actually, look, there's too much air. It's like broken. Look at it.
Aw, it looks like that thing in that
It has
movie.
like 5 answers, you guys. Which one do you want it to be?
It looks like, remember those things that we made, the origami's? I got a story.
Origami.
Origami. So, we,
Hold on, please.
my daughter lost her
Okay.
My daughter lost her second tooth.
Yay, congratulations!
And she was spending the night with her bestie, Gwenny J. And,
So Tiffany got tooth fairy duty?
the tooth fairy didn't come over there. But, I'm sending these pictures to my sister real quick. There you go. So she spent the night there that night, and Tiffany was like, I tried to find some money, but I didn't have like anything small enough. I was like, it's no big deal.
Just
So
like
she-
the tooth fairy got lost.
Right. Well, so the next morning, so she had put her tooth under her pillow, and I'm sitting there in the morning having my coffee, and she comes out, honey, my tooth is still under my pillow. And I'm like, well, that's because you're still awake. You're gonna go back to bed. I knew that wasn't gonna happen because we had a game that morning, and she was already awake and pissed off that the tooth fairy hadn't come. So I'm like, I gotta come up with something quick, fast, and in a hurry. So I found $2 bills, and I just started folding them bitches like it was a note in 9th grade, baby.
Right,
I was
and you're
folding
like,
it. Blue, BLUE. What color, what number you're gonna marry Rob Lowe?
Oh,
Type shit,
God,
right?
that's so dated.
Mhm.
Ew.
So we go in, right? I go in, and she's like, Mom, I just don't know. You know, we're talking about it, everything, and I low-key just like dropped that $2 that I fucking origami'd up. And I was like, I pulled the pillow back, and the tooth's there. I was like, honey, I don't know why it's still there. And then I put it back down, and I go to walk out, and I was like, what was that noise? Did you hear that? Kind of like a little tinkle, tinkle, tinkle. And she's like, I didn't hear anything. She's
Basically, get ready to say, fuck you.
And I was like, oh, what is that? And she looked down on the floor and she saw the $2 bills. Of course, she couldn't give a shit about what was under the pillow anymore. She saw the money. So she gets down. I was like, I wonder how much money that is. So she's starting to unfold it and everything. And while she was sidetracked over here doing that, I was like, whoa, and shoved that sucker right in my back pocket. So she's still undoing it. She's like, I got $2, Mom. And I was like, yeah, see, you thought she wasn't coming. I said, and as soon as I pulled this back down and I went, oh.
I just knew.
And then of course I had to make a big deal and like freak out, like, is she still in here? And I'm looking behind the curtain like, she had to have been just here, And my daughter's like, oh, Mom, this is great. And I'm like, oh, shoo, bitch.
I know, I'd have been like looking underneath shit.
Oh
like,
my God.
it's gotta still be in here somewhere.
Right. You're hiding it from me.
And
But
then you
yeah.
hear the doors shut, and you're like, oh.
So, one more story, and this has to do with her bestie, Gwenny J. And this is a second-hand story, but it's too fucking funny not to share. So,
Young children's stories are always pretty funny.
yeah. So Gwenny J's mom, Tiffany, her birthday was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And Tiffany's sister, who Gwen calls Doe, she spent the night with a couple of kids. Like there was like a sleepover the whole weekend or whatever. Well, I guess Sunday night, Gwen wanted to sleep out in the living room with Doe and the other kids, and she's like, oh, okay. Well, Tiffany and her husband Taylor were in the bedroom, and he was rubbing her down because, like, nothing was happening.
Right, it wasn't like fun.
But I mean,
fun.
she was nude,
Right.
but he was, rubbing her down with lotion or whatever. So Doe's telling me this story, and I'm cackling. So she says, Gwen jumps up and screams, I forgot to hug my mom. So she runs down the hall. Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. Oh, it gets funny. It just keeps getting funnier and funnier. So she opens the door and sees Taylor rubbing lotion on Tiffany and screams, slams the door, runs back down the hallway. I hate it when my mom gets undressed. And Doe was like, well, Gwen, maybe she's putting on her pajamas. And she goes, no, my dad is rubbing her butt. And Doe was like, well, sometimes your butt hurts and it needs to be rubbed. And she goes, well, she just needs to learn. She goes, well, people need to learn how to wipe better.
Ain't that the truth, sister? People need to wipe better.
So she said, that is highly inappropriate. And then Doe was like, and she was like clearly upset or whatever. And so Tiffany had come out to check on Gwen, and I don't know if it was Tiffany or Doe, but one of them said, Gwen, sometimes, you know, when husbands and wives, you know, they hurt, their husband will rub their butt because their butt hurts, their shoulders hurt, whatever. She goes, she's got a little boyfriend named David. She says, well, when I marry David, he better rub my butt. And I'm just like,
right.
ugh. And the one story about Gwen that just always, like my favorite story about her that nobody else laughed at but me, and then I felt like shit, but not really. We had this old man that walked through our town every morning last year around the time the kids got on the bus. And he said his name was Gordon. I don't know if that was his first name or the last name, but we called him Mr. Gordon. But he would always like be religious and preach and all this other stuff. And one day I felt a little froggy and I was like, I wonder what he'd do if I told him I was Buddhist. Oh God, I found out. He's like, I'm gonna pray for you. Why?
Yeah, that's rude.
Yeah, I have it all on video too.
I don't need your energy.
But we were waiting at the bus and Gwen became somewhat infatuated with
Buddha?
with Mr. Gordon.
Oh.
And one morning, he was walking and she's like, hey, Mr. Gordon, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm walking with Jesus. And she said, you're what? He says, I'm walking with Jesus. Now, she's 5 years old. She knows exactly who Jesus is. What I thought she was going to say is, well, I don't see anybody. You know what I mean? That's what I thought she was going to say. But no. She said, why are you walking with Jesus? He goes, I'm just walking with Jesus. And she says, he says, oh, I'm just walking with Jesus. She goes, well, Jesus is walking with me now. And I'm taking him to school.
That's fucking awesome.
I had to hide. I was laughing so fucking hard. Nobody else was laughing. I had tears rolling down my face, but I wasn't making a sound. I was frozen in time, people, I tell you.
That's perfect. That's a very intelligent child.
Oh my goodness. And then after...
Because that's comedy. That wasn't just her, like...
Oh my God,
that was really
so funny.
her trying to be funny.
So after the girls got on the bus, it was me and her Aunt Doe that was at the bus stop. And when we walked away, I looked at Doe and I was like... First, she's all nosy up in his business, wanting to know where the hell he's going and what he's doing. And then she takes his damn walking partner.
She steals his best friend.
She steals his best friend.
It's like, World War III just started.
Basically.
Let's hope not.
Let's see what time it is.
Oh, I know. We haven't even looked.
We haven't even looked. Sorry, guys. I have not even let Nick say 5 words. But I'm fired up, bitch. Oh, speaking of fired up, I'm a little fired up because we're in the fucking playoffs. We weren't supposed to win over the weekend, but God love them, we did. So now we have a whole other game this weekend. And we're doing the
cheer.
And we're doing
That's
a sleepover.
Chilly time of the year for cheerleading. Ooh.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be in the 70s Saturday, I think.
My kids are actually cold. It's.
How
cold.
long do you think we've been on?
I'm gonna say 23 minutes.
Okay, you're close. 33. I thought we'd been on a lot longer than that because I kept it running my mouth.
Yeah, you have been talking a lot.
Yeah, I'm mad.
I'm mad. I have to what I want. Okay, so what else can we talk about? Ooh, Salem's Lot. Did you watch it yet?
No.
There's a remake to Salem's Lot on Max. Streaming on Max. It's really good. So if you have a young kid, age 7 to 10, you could actually show them this horror movie. It's the first like PG horror movie I've seen in forever. They do takeaways, old school style, instead of showing you people's faces getting ripped off and shit. So it's pretty good. I liked it. It took place in the 70s, and they did a perfect recreation of the 70s. For some reason, every time they recreate the 80s, it's over 85.
I agree.
But the
It
70s
wasn't all that.
is always
On
on par.
point,
It's
yeah.
perfect and easy to recreate. But the 80s, they act like everybody did jazzercise with neon leggings on.
I agree. I
It
agree. It
really-
wasn't that loud. I mean, there were loud people,
But that
But it
wasn't
wasn't
until
the era.
1987.
I mean, yeah, that was definitely not.
Everything
definitely
before
not the
that was
vibe.
just part of the 70s. Everything in Phillipsburg
It was all like
brown.
I was gonna say like browns and earth tones and
Yeah, we weren't on
stripes.
that. The California people had a totally different 1980s than
well,
we did.
I had a different taste in clothing, and my grandmother, like when I was younger, of course she would buy everything for me when I had no opinion. But even in like, I don't know, first, second, third grade, I started like developing preferences in clothes, and she just let me run with it. And I remember telling her I want leggings, a long sweater, and I want a fucking chain around my waist because
That was kind of punky.
I loved Mr. T, man, and all the chains and shit.
Mhm.
But I didn't want to put all the chains around my neck because I've always been weird about things around my neck.
So you were kind of like a cross between a punk and a mall girl almost?
Sort of. Yeah. Yeah, kind of. And so I have that. I have a picture of me in this blue long, what do you call it? Long sweater, black leggings that have the straps in the feet. And then I have my plastic.
The straps
Belt.
in the feet. That's what we called Mrs. Lur's pants when we
I
were in
can't
school.
remember what
had a
we called
teacher
them.
that wore them.
I can't remember what we called them, but then I had like the plastic. I had a chain around my waist, but it was plastic. My grandma found for me,
There was
and
a
I
girl
wore
that
it as
dressed-
a belt.
That's hot. I like that. I was such a catalog kid.
Yeah, your mom
Uh,
kept you looking like
out of
you were
Sears.
on the cover of a please sail with this yacht company. Yeah, you were like
With white. I like legit Village of the Damned hair. My hair was on point. And my hair, at one time, believe it or not, was thick enough to have an afro. So I had to always go to the salon instead of the barber shop.
my brother had very, very coarse hair. And
Mine was fine,
didn't
but it was
let
thick.
nobody touch it. And he was strong. I remember him being probably single digits. And my cousin had a hold of one leg of the chair, holding on to my brother's leg and the chair. I was on the other side, and his mother was like trying to keep the chair this way while my grandma had to shave his head because he wouldn't let. Oh my God, it was awful. And he still drug us across the kitchen floor. My brother was strong as shit.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, when people say their head hurts, I know that they're not lying. Because when I was a kid, you couldn't even pull on my hair. Like, cause I had such pretty hair, the hairdressers were used to working on women, where they could pull on their hair.
Mhm.
You couldn't do that to me. You had to baby my hair. I was not into pain. I wasn't one of those kids that was like, I'd be like tears running down my face as I'm getting just combed for a haircut.
One of my cheer ducklings is like that. My little wild one, Aria. You can't even breathe in her direction or look like you're gonna touch her hair. She'll scream.
When I say that you feel every single hair follicle, they're not lying, because I remember this. Like, it was very intense. And then eventually, I had my cousin Lori cut my hair for probably 10 years, from the time I was probably like 9 all the way up until I started having my friends do it. So probably like 9 to 16, she cut
Mhm.
my hair. And then I just started having Chuck or Darlene cut my hair. And, but she was the first person to cut my hair, and it didn't hurt.
It's so strange that
She just knew how to do it.
Yeah.
I think part of it was that she got the water almost burning hot when she shampooed my hair in the sink. Like, it was super hot, and I think that had something to do with it. It relaxed my scalp for the haircut.
yeah, opens your pores up.
Because I think before, a lot of people are used to giving dry haircuts, but with me, you cannot do that. My hair, like, I buzz my hair better than most people do,
Yeah.
because you have to go over it 6 or 7 times.
Yeah, I don't let anybody touch my hair because if I fuck it up, that's
On me.
on me. But
Right.
if you fuck it up, that's me on you.
I do my whole haircut, and then I'll be like, Mom, look at my neckline.
Yeah. That's Mike. Hey, did I get everything?
Right, like.
I know, Sasquatch. There's still hair on your ass cheeks. So I'll share. I forgot about my mom visiting me after her death.
Oh, I love post-death visits.
So my mom and I shared a love for coffee,
Coffee is God.
and I was getting ready yesterday, and I knew my mom was going to visit me, and I asked her to do one thing specific. Now, this tattoo I got when my mom turned 50. I got my memorial tattoos for my parents while they were still alive, and I won't put a death date and birth date on those because
You want to remember them in that life.
they together made me, so technically they will live on through me.
That is true.
Yeah, so I don't
That
want
is
to put
absolutely true.
dates on that. So that's why I got my parents on me, and to remind me, yes, they made me, and yes, we had a roller coaster relationship, but they helped make who I am today, whether I like it or not, you know? So my mom always had this gift to take on other people's emotions, like to feel what the other person was expressing and to feel empathy and
Being an empath is a
But
real thing. Don't make fun of people that say they're empaths.
but when it came to me, this is how it was, okay? Now her and my sister like this, they're like this.
Like, oh yeah, that's so right. Oh
Yes.
my God, we agree on everything.
They belong to a fight club that I never could get into. And then it would piss me off, and then they'd be like, stop making it about you. Well, bitch, it's about time somebody did, but I digress.
Right.
So anyway, I'm getting ready yesterday, and I'm waiting for Regina to come take me to the store. And I have this thought pop in my head. Should I make another pot of coffee before Regina gets there? And it's like my mother came through and said, well, duh. Because Mom would always say...
Speaking of, I'm going to bring the pot out here.
Sure, yes.
Coffee cups.
Mom would say, you know, if you ever think, should I make a pot of coffee? The answer is always yes.
Always.
And so I immediately felt my mom there. And I even said out loud, okay, Tammy, I feel you. I know you're here. So I decided I'm going to go make make another pot of coffee. So I come out of my bathroom, I go down my hallway, and now my dog, Stella, whoa, I just got lightheaded.
You're like, shit!
My dog, Stella, is like 5 steps behind me. It's probably because I haven't shut the fuck up. I'm fired up, guys. I really want to apologize to everyone, including Nick. It's been a hell of a week. Got a lot happening. But so I turned the corner into my kitchen, and it just felt like my mom was right there. And every ounce of energy and every emotion that she ever felt since she's been deceased, it was like a ball of energy that just went straight into my chest, and I mean, I felt it.
Was it like Poltergeist? When the spirits are coming down the stairs?
Oh my God, it almost felt like, you know what, it did feel similar to that. I mean, I'm not being cliche or anything.
No,
like, it
'cause I
felt
know.
literally like I felt her in my chest. It was like a 15 of her hugs, and then every emotion you could think of. And it was like, okay, she finally understands. She had to die to understand my feelings, but she's there now.
Mm-hmm.
And I just immediately started sobbing. I couldn't get to the phone quick enough to call my sister-in-law and be like, she's been here too long. I said, Casey, I know it wasn't a heart attack because it didn't hurt. So then, the only person that knew this was my husband. The night my mom passed, I said, Mom, now I know all these people are going to be like, oh, when I see a butterfly, it's Tammy, because my mom had a thing about butterflies.
Tammy!
Obviously,
And we love the name Tammy.
Yeah. And, you know, I have a butterfly tattoo for my mom. However, I had a conversation with my mother that night.
About getting one on your forehead?
I said, that might be next. So I said, Mom, I said, when you come to me, don't be coming and bringing me no damn butterfly. I said, you know exactly what I want you to do. It has to have something specifically to do with me, and I want you to bring that apple with a bite out of it. Because my mom had a tattoo, right? And I can't remember what the fuck the tattoo was, probably butterfly. And it had all of her kids' names around it, all 4 of us, right?
Oh, that's cool.
But now my name had a little apple beside it. Like there was one standard tattoo with all 4 of us around it, but my name had a little red apple with a bite out of it beside it. And my sister was like, is that because she's the apple of your eye? And mom's like, no, because the apple don't fall far from the tree. Because mom and I were very similar people and we look alike. So I said, look, it has to be random, but I need you to send me that red apple with a bite out of it somehow. Well, I thought I had maybe seen it or got my message like a few days before because I got like a candle that had an apple on it, but I was like, no, it doesn't have a bite out of it. I told her specifically, you know. Same day yesterday, after that happens, Regina comes over to take me to the store. We all know Regina. She was here last week. Regina comes in. Now, the only person I told about this apple thing was my husband. Regina comes in, and now I'm telling her what I just told you guys. And I get to the point where I say, you know, Mom had that tattoo with the apple, and she goes, an apple with a bite out of it. She's like, you're not going to believe this. I hate to interrupt you, but the weirdest thing happened last night. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
I said, what? And I already knew, like my hair started standing up because I knew. I said, what do you mean, Gina? And she said that her and her kids, I think, was coming home from the store, and they walked up their back porch, and there was a fucking red apple just sitting there on their deck with a bite out of it. And her one daughter, Watermelon, pointed at it like, what the fuck? And she was like, oh, probably just a squirrel put it up there. And I started laughing and crying hysterically. I was like, she picked you, Regina. And Gina's hairs are standing up. She's like, what the fuck are you talking about? My hairs are standing up. And I'm like, she picked you, Regina. And then I was like, my mom picked you. And I told her, and then she got on her phone and went like on her Ring doorbell and showed me where they walked up in the fucking apple, and it was like,
wouldn't it be cool
whoa.
if there was, the ring got triggered when the squirrel did it? Like if you
well,
had
I don't
put it-
know. I mean, she said that it wasn't there when they left. But I mean, theoretically, Regina, could you check and see if you could see when it got placed there? Because
But you know what? Don't even ruin it. Just
don't even ruin it. Never mind. Don't do it.
Keep it like that. It's so much better like that.
Oh
But
yeah, it was my
doesn't-
mom.
It doesn't need to be any other way.
Oh, it was totally my mom. Absolutely. I'll see how much more time we have. Do you guys ever get messages saying, hey, we got a package for you, but you need to send us $400 in
I'll
order
be like, I already paid for my package.
Oh, before I go. Next week, he's gonna duct tape my mouth shut.
And we're gonna talk about Star Trek the whole time. No, not really.
So, this young gentleman named Hunter Crone, he's not in the mafia that I know of. I watched this kid grow up, and last week, his lovely girlfriend Maggie messaged me talking about, hey, can you officiate a marriage? And I said, sure. 3 days later, I go stalking her Facebook page so I can get some info to, make the ceremony and write it down and everything. Find out she's engaged to Hunter, whom I watched grow up.
Right, and you're like, you didn't know that at first
Nope.
when you knew her? Oh,
No,
that's even
she messaged me because she saw
cooler.
me post on a page that I was an officiant. And I was like, oh my God, that's your fiance. I watched that kid grow up. So I went and married them last night. And
It's legal to marry 3 people?
I'm married to technically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people now.
Oh my God, so you can
Yeah.
actually use the word polycule in daily life, which is just like a huge, gigantic, polyamorous,
Cunt.
like, family of fuckery.
I'm like a giant virgin.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we went there, and as you know, I have bad everythings, especially my knees. Well, I found a hole and tripped in it. I hope I didn't already tell that story because we talked about it before we started recording. I fell in a motherfucking hole. Face planted, bitch.
Yeah, she fell in a hole.
And then, after the wedding was over, their little girl fell in it.
But
now my knee feels better on the left side.
did you laugh when she fell?
No, she
Okay,
cried.
I would have. Even
I
if she
cried.
I would have laughed. I'd have been like, oh,
It was
that's
like,
so terrible.
my poor husband, he was like, before I could even get my arm extended, it was already too late. He's like, you was down. And I did. And like, my arm back here hurts so bad because I literally felt like that and my elbow hurts.
Well, you know.
But like I said, I told Nick, I was like, it feels like I can still, it still pops when I move it, but
You moved something back
something
into place.
moved in there and I ain't had no slippage or nothing.
It slurped back down on it.
I mean, I don't know what happened.
I dislocated my knee once and put it back into place. That was some like stuck in the jungle
It hurt
shit.
for a split second.
Like I knew that if I'd seen it in movies, okay, and I knew it only takes one simple move, but it's gonna be super painful and you're gonna feel like you're dying afterwards.
Yeah.
That was not an understatement. So
Right.
what I did, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna do exactly what they did in the movie. So I put my hand on my kneecap, pushed down a little bit, and then extended my leg out super hard and fast.
Oh, God.
And
Yeah.
it did pop right back down into place. But let me just tell you, that was no joke pain.
Yeah, you
Like,
will go through
Because
that.
it was gross. When you look down and see your kneecap on top of where it's supposed to be, like,
That happened to my son Jordan.
oh, it's so gross, and you freak out. But then really, all you do is push it back in place and extend your leg.
Yeah,
And it worked.
He had been drinking with his older brother and come in the back door and slipped and his kneecap popped out. It was like 2:30 in the morning and my son coming out. He's like, "Mom, you gotta get up, Jordan." And it's my son that is like overly dramatic. And he's like, "Oh my God, what's gonna happen? He's underage and drinking." And I'm like, "Just shut the fuck up. We gotta get him to the hospital and get his kneecap put back." And then this is my son that's literally as tall as Nick. And he's skin and bones, and he's legally blind. And this woman, this little Oriental woman, comes in on these, and she's just, the reason why I say that, she's just a little thing.
She's
Little
like
tiny
walking
thing.
on cans of peaches to get some height.
The crutches are taller than she is, and she's trying to show him how to use them. I'm like, honey, he knows how to use crutches, and he's intoxicated, and he's blind. So can you just, we'll be all right. Bless her heart, she was trying to show him how to use them, and Jordan was so fucking drunk. He was trying not to laugh at her because, and I'm like, lady, at least get one your size of
Because when you're really drunk, you would probably feel like you were in a hospital somewhere else.
Right, because I'm 5'5", and she was shorter than me. And Jordan is about, what, your height? Jordan's about
he's
6'2".
Yeah, I was gonna say we're about the same height. Actually.
Yeah, so, I mean, ooh, chow.
I'm just barely under 6'3". And it's funny because I got taller when I lost weight. So like at a time when most people are getting shorter in their life,
Maybe your fat went to the bottom of your feet and it just kind of elevated you.
it did a little bit.
It was a little bit of elevation.
And I kind of better posture in my 40s than I did in my youth. Because I think in my youth I did this a lot.
Oh, I still do.
Oh, I never do. I'm always like, I must increase my bust.
I don't want to.
You know, that's one of my favorite things to do at
Is
work
this not the cutest shirt ever?
for Pink Month.
Coach
Yeah,
Chelsea made these
Oh,
for
that's
us.
why they're cute. Because most pink stuff pisses me off because it's the same thing, but just
Yes.
on different pieces of.
This is
clothing.
actually for the football pink out, and we wore these for our.
It's very Peggy
last
Bunny
game.
and
Yes.
very 80s. I love
Yes.
it.
So Coach Chelsea did these. She did an amazing job, and you know,
Thank you, Coach Chelsea.
I thought about having her make me like a hoodie or something on the back of it that says "officiant in service" or "marrying people up in this bitch, shut the fuck up" or something like that. To where like if I'm standing there marrying somebody and somebody walks up with like their dog or their noisy ass children, they could be like, "Ooh, she marrying somebody." The shirt says "shut the fuck up, let's go."
It should be like official marrying person.
Yes, I'm marrying people.
I'm
Leave me
marrying
alone.
people.
Well, I think they're very much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. it's
And I
fun
do
for-
want to apologize again for talking so much that I almost lost consciousness.
I know, because when you stand up now,
I'll fall
you
over.
might fall over. It'll be funny.
I'm not.
I'll edit the last part to be in slow motion so it shows you like.
So I guess I'm stopping the video.
Thank you for joining
And it's the
us.
Punk Unicorns
Unicorns
Podcast.
Podcast.
Don't fuck up your mom's obit.
Woo! Oh yeah.
Look at me.